yeah, it's a wonder of the world to see it with your own eye. My brain started to think, well, wouldn't it be great to have a shot of the Swilcan Bridge? So I took the gamble, jumped in the car, drove through, and quite funny, there was no one else here. But to capture that moment, yeah, that was pretty special. Mindfulness, I suppose, beauty, photography. At the time, it was about the photography of seeing all these pictures and wanting to emulate that myself. Whereas now, some days I'm not sure, is it the hill walking that's making me go, or is it the actual photography? Yeah, there is a lot of similarities in that whole sort of, you get down there early morning, you can see the sun coming up over the sea. You know, it might be pre-dawn, you've got those nice colours in the sky, those pastel purples and pinks, and you just know it's going to be a good day. And yeah, turning down by the R&A building, so you've got the West Sands in front. You always take a quick look to the left as you're going down, look down the home end, and you know, just sort of think, yeah, that's the office for the day. Greenkeeping's, it's a fantastic industry to be in, and you know, if you love the outdoors, yeah, I couldn't think of a better job, to be quite honest. My name's John Wood. I'm the course manager of the Old, New and Jubilee course here at St Andrews. I suppose what got me started into greenkeeping was actually golf, and hitting a golf ball around my grandfather's back garden as a youngster, 12-year-old. So through that, I found a set of clubs in his shed and got him out one afternoon and just started hitting balls around his garden, making little holes in the soil and trying to chip into them. I suppose I sort of fell into greenkeeping to some degree. I went and did a 2-week work experience from school. Long time ago now, I can't even remember the date, to be honest, probably 97 or 98. Finishing college, went off on the Ohio State internship to America. Spent a year at Pinehurst. So when you're talking multi-course complexes, spent a few years at Portmarnock, and then ended up coming to St Andrews. So arrived in St Andrews in 2006, did the Ladies Open in 2007, worked my way through to the 2010 Open, which was a pretty wet Open, but enjoyable. Running through those 4 years of just having that target, that sort of end goal, this is what we're doing all this for. So really enjoyed that experience. I was deputy at the time through that whole period. I was very fortunate to come back to St Andrews in 2015 to the Castle course. I've been here ever since. This is coming up to my 10th year back, which is hard to imagine. And yeah, down here just over a year ago onto the old course, which is quite nice. Having the ladies as my first major as a course manager, because it was my first major when I was here as the deputy. So that was just quite a nice way of rounding it all off from that position to this position. So I suppose hill walking comes from back in 2009. I'd not really explored Scotland at that point. I'd been here for 3 years, and I decided to head up north, up to Ullapool for a few days, and I ended up, I got a book, 100 Best Walks in Scotland, and I was like, well, I'm going to do X, Y and Z, and I ended up going up a hill called Stack Polly, and the view halfway up was like, it was a beautiful blue sky day, and the west coast of Scotland, it's basically sea to mountains. They're not the tallest mountains in the world, but the whole sort of view from the summit was just amazing, and that's where it all began really. and I bought a book on the Munros in the airport, and that started my bagging career of Munros, which, yeah, 282 of them, and it took me 10 years to complete them all, of which I did 3 years from Cornwall, so I did 30 from Cornwall, which is roughly a 12-hour drive up to Scotland. So yeah, a bit crazy, but yeah, the love of the hills, you know, going up north and seeing all that and appreciating all that, and then yeah, you've got this is on my doorstep. You know, this is what, half an hour from home. They're not the biggest hills in the world, but you know, for Fife and the views you get looking over the Forth estuary, and yeah, it's pretty stunning. Yeah, this is where I'm from, St Monans, quaint little fishing village down in the East Nook of Fife. So probably about 25 minutes from St Andrews. Probably decided to live here for my love of photography, being close to the sea. You know, there's some stunning views, great coastal walking down in the area, but yeah, it's a beautiful part of the world. There's probably 4 or 5 fishing villages along this coast, so all have their own sort of unique sort of style. But yeah, St Monans is where I am, and you've got the blocks, as they're called, just over here, which is probably a bucket list photography hotspot for anyone who likes taking photographs. I suppose, yeah, the blocks, you know, you can come down any sort of evening, probably 5 minutes away from here, and you know, you've got different lights and colours. Normally keep an eye out the window what it's looking like, and if there's a chance of a good sort of sunset, I'll just throw the stuff on my back and just head down here. So no, I've got some nice images, some moody images. I've got a real nice moody image of the blocks that I really like. It nearly looks black and white, although it's not. And then yeah, I've got some nice sort of pastel-y colours. I've got ones where the sea's crashing over the blocks, and you know, you're sort of slowing the shutter speed, which gives a bit of sort of movement into the water. So yeah, no, I got some nice photographs from sort of down here. Yeah, it's a good spot, and it's a good way mentally just to switch off after a day at work. Philosophy that we're looking to do as minimal as we can, but produce fantastic surfaces. I think we're quite shrewd in how we sort of look at what we're sort of doing. Do I feel a weight of the old? Of course you do. The eyes of the world are constantly on you. But it's a nice feeling at the same time, because you know, people care about this place. If they didn't have an opinion, that'd probably be boring. I think you never stop preparing for the next major tournament. You know, we're always, I remember Gordon saying the day after the Open in 2010, on the Monday, well, now we're preparing for the next Open Championship. No, man plus nature. I quite like the whole, yeah, you just listen and hear all the noises, so the birds, waterfalls, you know, some of the things I've seen, stags, golden eagles. Yeah, that's some pretty cool experiences where, you know, you want to try and immerse yourself in that a little bit. Sunrises, sunsets, wild camp. You know, just head off up into the hills. You wake up on top of a hill and you watch the sun come up or go down. It's pretty special, knowing you're the only person there to sort of see that at that point. I took a guide to do the in-pin, which is a summit on Skye where you basically you go up a very narrow, it's probably less than 2 foot strip of rock. It's like a shark's fin, and when you reach the top you abseil off the other side down onto the mountain the other side. So that's the one. If you're just a hill walker and not a climber, technical climber with all that, that's the one you always want to get out of the way. So I left that second till last. I first photographed the Aurora back in 2007 up in Braemar, again on a whim. It looked good, so I drove for 2 hours and I found a tree that I quite liked on the edge of the road. And I sat there and again I watched it unfold in front of my eyes, and from that moment onwards I've always been pretty amazed by that whole, yeah, it's a wonder of the world to see it with your own eye. Got an app on my phone, and that sort of pinged up to say it was going to be pretty decent. So I shot out and the back door of the house, had a look, took a couple of test shots just to see whether it was good out the back of the house, and yeah, you could literally see it in the sky. So I headed out, I was taking photographs of the windmill, and then I was like looking at the direction and thinking it's quite a long way south. So this was about 12 o'clock at night, and that's when my brain started to think, well, wouldn't it be great to have a shot of the Swilcan Bridge with the RNA building and the Aurora stood above it? So I was like thinking, yeah, that would be really cool and probably quite unique. So I took the gamble, jumped in the car, drove through, and quite funny, there was no one else here taking shots of the bridge. So I just sort of, yeah, set up, started firing off a few shots, and yeah, just basically watched it unfold over the next couple of hours. Had a few people wandering back from the pub asking me what I was doing, a couple of Americans. And when I pointed out the Aurora, which you could literally see in the sky yourselves at that point, they were gobsmacked. So that was quite a nice, surreal sort of moment. And yeah, I ended up being here basically till sunrise. Just taking shot after shot after shot in all different directions, but yeah, the ones looking into town over the RNA and Hamilton Hall and up to 18, yeah, they're absolutely stunning. I mean, yeah, a lot of nice comments, a lot of people asking if they could buy it, so you know, that's quite special. To think you've made something, to some degree you've planned that shot. Although it was a bit of a rush, you've sort of planned, you've thought about it, you've executed it, and people really like it. That makes me feel good as a person. I wouldn't class myself as a great photographer. I enjoy it, but to capture that moment, yeah, that was pretty special. I'm just like, well, what's the point in going to bed at this point? I might as well wait for sunrise. That's what I did. So yeah, I think I got home I went to the sheds and got coffee after. Simon, my deputy, was there. So he was like, what are you doing? And so, like, yeah, so he probably thinks I was a nutter that day. And then yeah, I got home at about 7 o'clock. I think I went to sleep for a couple of hours and then yeah, got on with the rest of the day. So yeah, I am probably crazy. But hey, you know, I'm still quite young. I think you've got to make the best of your life, and if you enjoy that sort of thing, you might as well do it when you can.